Right then, here we go. Time for the Australian Grand Prix, round number 3 of the season in this McLaren Road to Glory on the brand new F1 23 game. If you haven't seen round 2 at Jeddah, the previous race, go check it out. Link in the top right as always. Spoiler warning, so this is your chance to click off the video now if you don't want things to be spoiled. But yeah, here we are. Another race weekend is upon us. And guys, if you, let's say, smash 1,250 likes on this episode, I'll drop another episode tomorrow. How about that? So hit the target and more content on your way. Anyway, for this one, we have a bit of a break and a bit of time to get some upgrades on the go. We get a double upgrade for the aero, and for the first time, upgrades don't fail this season, and also the spark plug. So we went from 3 consecutive failures to now 3 successful upgrades in a row. So 6 upgrades in the car already. We're going to add some more, starting off with the gearbox, which has a huge discount, so we may as well take it, because at some point you have to do these upgrades, because otherwise it hinders the possibility of getting discounts on other upgrades in the practice program. So you have to basically do them at some point, and we're going to do that as well, buying the chassis upgrade, also the halo upgrade for the aero, which I'm actually going to take a chance here and rush it, because we've got a bit of a break from Australia to Baku. However, it failed, it backfired, so we're going to have to repurchase it and go again, and that will arrive for round 4. And yeah, besides that, pretty much I'm happy with what we've got so far. Overall, we've done pretty good progress with the upgrades. We started the season off as the 2nd from bottom team, so position 9 out of 10. And we're now the 6th best team, and this weekend we actually brought the biggest upgrade package of anyone. So again, helping to close that gap, although the gap from Alpine to Aston Martin is huge. So we're going to have to really work to close that gap throughout the season. Anyway, for now though, it's another triple upgrade for the 2nd race weekend in a row, and we jumped into practice. And I'm not going to lie, this year's game, the handling, the combination of the new Australia layout feels phenomenal. And to go with that, if you look in the top left, we're P1 right now. We have good pace here, even better than Jeddah and Bahrain. So each race weekend we're getting better and better. I'm starting to kind of understand the setups a bit more and where the limit is with the car, and also the upgrades are working. So step by step we're getting there and we're making that progress. And I think this weekend, genuinely, we have a shot of not just points but also getting out of Q1. The pace is strong. I'm very, very encouraged so far. As you can see, we've got a hell of a lot of discounts, especially on the ignition system for the engine power. So that will be the next upgrade, because Baku is next up, so it only makes sense that we go for that. But yeah, time for qualifying. We'll take care of the upgrades at the start of the next episode as always. And I believe Baku is a sprint race, so I think it is. I can't remember now, but I think it's a sprint race, so that could be interesting. So it's important that we get our car in tip-top shape for that weekend. Anyway, qualifying time, Q1, and currently on our first banker lap. A couple of personal best, of course, as we haven't set a lap time yet, and we're going to see where this first lap puts us amongst the shuffle. Making our way out the final corner, DRS open, up to the line we go, and it's going to be a 1:18.6, and we go P10, which is not bad, actually splitting the Alpha Tauris, which is a good sign. I then went for a cool down lap and a second time lap. That is kind of the strategy I run in these Q1 sessions to save a set of tyres. And again, we found even more time, half a second to be precise, and that moves us from 17th into P12, and that is much more like it.
They're sitting in 7th. Right, their best lap time is a 1:17.8.
So again, signs of progress. We're only a couple of tenths off Lando, so we're kind of getting that gap down bit by bit. Right now we're safe by 3 tenths, but Perez is in the knockout zone, so realistically he's probably going to improve, so we have to find a bit of time and, you know, maybe a tenth or 2 just to really be safe. So fresh set of tyres and also less fuel. We've got enough for 1 lap, and we're going to start the lap right now with 1:40 to go. We're going to be the first car to get our final run underway. Down to turn number 1. Bring the car over to the left at the 50, brake and turn in. We didn't quite catch the apex and we invalidate, which I thought would put an end to our qualifying session, but I quickly realised we had just enough fuel and time to maybe coast around. And you can see I'm really micromanaging the fuel here. I've been coasting in 8th gear, feathering the throttle, and I think we're just going to have exactly 1 lap of fuel to get this lap done, and we're going to cross the line with 10 seconds remaining. So we've just managed to squeeze across the line and get 1 more lap in. This time we get the apex at turn 1 and we get a decent exit, and that is much more like it. Down to turn 3, spot the 100 on the left, down to 3rd gear, try to get a bit closer to the apex than what I did there. Short shift to 4th, you can use a lot more inside curb through here. I learned that in the race, and I'm now flat out through 5, and it's a very good first sector as we're nearly 2/10 up. Into turn 6, I believe. 6th gear, keeping the throttle pinned on the exit, and we find even more time, and we're now over 2/10 up, and this is looking pretty decent right now. We're 16th, so we're in the drop zone, so we need to improve. Second split, let's look at Zhou in the top left, and we're currently matching as we throw the car into the chicane. We run it in a bit too deep in the first part, which really compromises the exit, and we lose pretty much the entire advantage as we now head into the brake zone there at turn 14, and again, it's a costly error as we invalidate, just picking up some understeer, and that is it. It's qualifying over as we're 17th and we're out, which is really, really annoying. I bring the car into the pits because obviously it's invalid, so there's no point finishing the lap. And yeah, I'm annoyed because there was some pace there, and it hurts even more looking at the final qualifying results because we missed out by 3/100ths of a second. So if you pause the frame at the start of sector 3 before the chicane, I was exactly 2/10 up. So that would have put us in P13. Instead, we're out, and that's a shame. So again, I'm going to kind of look at this as a glass half full and take some positives and know that for the first time this season, we genuinely had pace to get into Q2. I just made a mistake. I should have taken 6th gear instead of 7th into the chicane, and that would have given me a better bit of turning and also an exit, but I took a chance and it backfired. But yeah, positive steps. Lando in the top 8 as well. Those upgrades are working well when we're getting closer and closer. So yeah, a very good qualifying. Could have been better, but alas, it is what it is. As for the race, 4 DRS zones. It's going to be interesting, and that is going to be key to stay within 1 second of the car ahead. Also note, I actually ran a bit more wing than everybody else, so that could be a problem in the race, but I'm very strong in the final sector, so it should be a fun one. Let's get into it, and let's see if maybe we can try and score points for the first time this season.
Welcome to Melbourne, and welcome to the Australian sun. We're still getting used to some track revisions here, but the core hasn't changed. This is a beloved classic of the F1 calendar, and it's time for the Australian Grand Prix. So here we are at Albert Park Circuit, 3.28 miles around, with the streets making for a bumpy surface with little undulation. There are 14 corners around the lake, with the best passing opportunities coming at turn 1 and turn 3. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Sainz, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Gasly, Stroll, Ocon, Bottas, Verstappen, Magnussen, Zhou, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Martinez, Albon, Sargent, and Nick de Vries. And now it's time to head down to the track. Natalie Pinkham joins me once again in the commentary box. It's fantastic to have you with us today. I'm curious though, how do you think the drivers stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, the regulations aren't new anymore, but the teams and the drivers are still coming to terms with them. I firmly believe it's also track specific. We've seen some wheel-to-wheel racing throughout the year. Some tracks lend themselves better to it than others. I'd like to see it at every race in the whole season. Is that too much to ask?
Right, here we go. Time for the main event. And to be fair, I'm feeling optimistic. I think we've got a good race car yet again. The big issue is tyre wear. That seems to be the recurring theme from the first 2 races. So this is going to be interesting. So let me explain. The game originally wanted me to do this strategy. So a 2-stop. I'm going to try and go for the 1, but it could change to a 2. The idea here is to start on medium. If we make it last long enough, we could do a medium to soft. If not, medium to hard. or possibly medium soft, something like that. We've got a few options. So I'm going to try and see what works best at the time, but we're going to basically kind of, you know, free ball it and just kind of guess what the best option could be. The key thing though is starting on the medium. I think that's going to be the best option. I'm expecting the AI to start on softs all across the field, which is a bit of an issue, but again, we'll try and keep up. Fuel-wise, I'm going for 0.2 extra. Again, we've learned the first 2 races, fuel consumption's been pretty low, so I'm going to take a chance and go a bit lower in this race. And yeah, pretty much the key thing here, DRS. There's 4 DRS zones, so we have to stay inside the 1 second margin, otherwise it could be race over pretty quickly. So yeah guys, leave a like, subscribe, prediction down below in the comments, and let's get to work. Right, all my focus is getting this start right. That's better, that's more like it. That's a good start, getting the revs spot on. Down to turn 1, trying to find some space. Easy does it. As we get into a drag race with Tsunoda, we're going to get blocked in here on the outside line, but we can try to still fight. Slight bit of contact there on the right side. No damage, which is good. Let's see how the car feels with a full tank of fuel. They are going to be pushing us quite hard here at the start, so just going to have to try and hold our own. Battery management will be key in this race, and deploying at the right time because of those 4 DRS zones. Right now we're under big pressure here from Tsunoda. I'm giving him the block as we cut across him completely. Making our way down to the chicane. You can see we're probably a bit down on straight line speed, so it is going to be important that DRS, so they have gone for a bit more of a higher downfall setup, which makes us stronger in sectors 1 and 3. We managed to keep Tsunoda at bay, and now we've got Zhou Guanyu ahead of us as Hulkenberg overtakes him. This could be a fun race, I think. An explosive race. I'm expecting a lot of action, so let's see. Decent exit there, but I'm not expecting to challenge in straight line speed anytime soon. Also, the downside of running higher wings is that recharging the battery will be tougher and more of a challenge. And we also get an early warning there for track limits as we test out where the limit of the car is as Tsunoda. Again, using the battery to get through, but we'll just defend the line and keep him behind. Tsunoda back for more. This guy's really leaning on the battery. Luckily, we're pretty good on the brakes around here. Just got to make sure we hold on to that DRS. That's going to be so important now as we begin lap 3. Alright, 21.1. We're in DRS range, and that's all that matters. Keeping up nicely here. Tsunoda's still a bit of an issue. I need this guy on softs to just bugger off. Soft runners are just causing trouble. Compared to medium runners, we're doing fine. We're keeping decent pace. So we're just need that soft tire to die off. Got some action up ahead. I did see a Red Bull, who I think is now trying to go up the inside of turn 1. So that's causing a bit of chaos and a bit of disruption. Either way, this is fine. This is a battle for the points, and we're keeping up right now, which is excellent. Got quite a lot of front tyre wear, which is a bit of a surprise. Might have to go a bit hard on the front wing just to balance it out in the pit stop, maybe. That could be an option. As Albon and Tsunoda battle away behind. This has been such a strange race so far. Nothing's really happening. What I will say is we are way down on straight line speed, as you'll see on this straight. Rather than use the battery, look at the cars just drive off. Checo pits though. The key thing here, I don't know who's 1 or 2 stopping, which could be interesting. I think everyone's going to probably mostly 1 stop now at this stage, as we get another warning. That was a bit harsh. Don't think that was out of bounds. Anyways, Tsunoda back for more. One thing I know as well, I've got pretty bad front tyre wear, and I'm massively struggling in the first 2 sectors, but we are so overpowered in the final sector. We are so strong. It's incredible. I especially struggle through this corner here. Just have no front end to fight with. But for the most part, we're starting to save a bit of battery, and the car is working well. We're able to, you know, keep up and be competitive. So that's all that matters really. We're staying, or we were staying within that DRS, although we might just lose it here. We've still held on just. Got to be careful now though. 2 warnings. Still 20 laps to go in this one. bit of a battle ahead here. Something's happened. Big old time loss as the train is completely broken up. Also, Albon's Tsunoda behind battling, so that's good. You can see we just easily can catch up, and we're so strong through these final 2 corners, which is the opposite of last year's game. But then in the straight we just get destroyed. They just drive off into the sunset. But more battling ahead. It's all starting to kick off now as we approach the pit stop phase. Oh my god, really big time loss ahead. Lando battling with Stroll for P10, I believe, and he has actually got ahead, to be fair. Might try and look for a move. I feel like I'm able to maybe leapfrog some cars here. Using the battery, but you can see we're in no match in the straight. Tsunoda's dropped out of DRS range now, thanks to his battle with Alex Albon. Checo flying on that new tyre. Just going to take it a little bit easier through turn 1 for the rest of this race. It's just so hard to pass. Literally it's impossible. The 4 DRS zones and just the constant DRS train effect when you lack straight line speed. That is a bit of an issue. Lesson learned for next time I race here, that's for sure. I have to sacrifice some cornering to give myself a bit more top end speed. We'll keep the wing the same in the pit stop. I don't want to go lower because it might give me more understeer, which I don't exactly want. So no, the pits. So now Checo is released onto us. Here comes Perez. I won't fight it. We'll let him drive. Much faster car. I'll pick this up in principle, but let's see what the other cars ahead of us do. We've all bunched up into a pack. Only one of them pits, so I'm going to follow through and pit as well. Oh, that was close. Wow. Hold my breath there for a second. Right, this is a key stop. Lovely, 2.2. Right on the money. Okay, so back underway behind Bottas. This is a key out lap at this stage.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
I think we jumped Magnussen. Yes, we did. We jumped Magnussen in the pit lane. That's great. Although, I'm not sure if we'll be able to stay ahead. We'll try it. They are using full power. There's Tsunoda just behind. So Yuki hasn't been able to get the undercut to work. He's on mediums though, so could be faster. We're probably going to get past it straight away. Which really isn't ideal. I wanted to be ahead into the final sector. I'll let Magnussen go and I'll try and see if I can maybe repass him on the next DRS zone. We'll use some battery to stay close. There we go, a little bit shaky. And we don't forget DRS, Magnussen gets it, so it's a double DRS zone. So Tsunoda goes through, or tries to. I'm going to block him off though. Well, this hasn't been the undercut attempt that I hoped for. Nice bit of fresh tyre grip and performance through these final sector corners are going to make a big difference. Important just to use the battery now and stay close. It's going to be a race to turn 1. There is Hulkenberg, so we've jumped him as well. Magnussen's going to get held up with Ocon. Might get a chance to go 2 for 1. Or not, because Ocon's got DRS. No. No. Ocon locked up. I don't believe it. Oh, that's our race over. That's a safety car.
Right, let's have you in at the end of this lap, please.
Unbelievable.
Okay, I've got a brand new race strategy on your MFD if you want to go and check it out. Confirmed.
We'll go for the medium. That is unbelievable.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
Ocon just locked up a bit into turn 3 on the cold tyre. I was going to go just around the outside of Magnussen. I wasn't even trying to get Ocon. And we knock the back of him and get wing damage. Well, we'll go a bit lower on the front wing now because of that, but
Lando's coming in for his stop now.
that's just a disaster. And we might not even get an optimal stop as we may have to stack a little bit with Lando in. The mechanics may not be ready. Such a shame. Such a shame. I think we actually were looking good there. Because the AI kept on bunching up throughout the race, so we could have maybe had a battle for points, but once again, seems like we're going to miss out unless there's a safety car. Damn. That's annoying. Slow stop. No surprises, of course. Wing change. And yeah, we're just going to drive around now, hope for a safety car. Worst ways, if it doesn't arrive, we'll pull her in 3 laps before the end to save the engine a bit. Lando's in again.
Lando's in the pits. Lando in the pits.
Wow, so the same fate has struck us both. Clearly Lando got some damage. So that's both of our races over. And we was both running for points, especially Lando, who was running in the points. So yeah, what a disaster for McLaren today. Personal best, not bad. Not using any battery, I don't want to take any more out of the engine really. I'm just kind of cruising right now, so car feels great. That wing adjustment feels really nice, although we'll see how it feels when the tyre wear kicks in. I'm expecting the understeer to be worse because we went down by 1. Lando's really quick, really quick. I'm realising now during the stint I'm actually nowhere near his pace. The gap has doubled since he left the pits, so that is a bit of a concern. We're still a bit off the pace. But until we get decent setups, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be competing that well anytime soon. We just have to try and survive at this stage. I'll do 1 more lap, and if the safety car doesn't arrive, we'll retire the car. Because even if one were to arrive on lap 26, I wouldn't catch up in time because I'm about to get lapped. And, you know, we need to catch up to the leading group pretty much, so we wouldn't have enough time to get everything rearranged, so we'll save the engine if we can. Right, that's it. Race done pretty much. Race leader has crossed the line and they're now on lap 26. So 4 to go for them, but there's not enough time to turn this one around and reorganise the pack, so we're going to retire the car. Right, we'll bring her in and call it a day. We gave it a shot, but it wasn't to be today, which is a real shame. We'll retire the car and call it a race. But yeah, we go again next one, guys. I've learned a lot. Hopefully we can keep learning and improving. But yeah, so far 3 rounds, no points.
Another superb Australian Grand Prix comes to an end then, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
I want to know if that was as easy as it looked. An absolute masterclass today.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
There we go, guys. That is it for the race here today at Australia, and a race to forget, not just for me but for the team. Lando, really not great, and a shame because we was on for a few points, possibly a double points finish, you never know, because Magnussen finished P10 and we was battling with him around the pit stop phase. So yeah, gutted, and hopefully we can try and fight back in the next one. But yeah, look at the final results. Leclerc dominates, pole, win, fastest lap. Sainz second, Ferrari looked super strong. Verstappen third, Merckx, Alonso, Perez, Bottas, Stroll, Magnussen, and then Gasly out the points, and confirmation, as you can see, both McLarens at the back. Lando actually DNF'd at the end, so it makes things even worse. Anyway, standings, no change for us or Lando. Checo still leads by 1 point. Ferrari's cut the gap, and for us, yeah, it's a low-key start so far in 18th place. In the Constructors, we're 6th. Alpine are the next team ahead, but a long way ahead. Alfa Romeo scored a couple of points and they're just 1 behind now. So yeah, that is really not ideal with Bottas there in P8, of course. That's the big one. So yeah, guys, we go again. Next round, we'll try and fight back and give it, you know, everything we got and try to hopefully turn this around. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, guys, leave a like, subscribe, and trust me, we will get to the top. We will turn this around, and eventually the sun will shine on us again. So yeah, guys, stick with it, trust the process, and hopefully you believe. Anyway, cheers for watching, guys. As always, a big shout out to the members of the channel for supporting me. Finally, check out the 2 videos on your screen right now if you haven't seen them already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, and it's goodbye from me.